Whether you keep them in your home or love to see them in theirs, these are the creatures that bring us all together.
Reptiles. We're going to be delving into the experiences of reptile lovers from around the block and around the world. This is the Reptile Talk Podcast.
Boom! What is going on, everybody? This is Jeremy Turgeon from Brassman Reptiles.
And I'm Robin. I'm keeping it real.
Hey, we are back, and we've got more episodes for you guys, and we're super stoked about it.
Hell yeah. I'm super pumped for our episodes tonight. And if you're listening in the audio-only version, you'll get these 1 week apart. If you're listening live on YouTube or on Facebook, then you will be able to see both of them tonight, and it's going to be super awesome. But first things first, tonight's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Black Box Cages. If you're looking for a rack or a cage, make sure that you check them out. One of the quickest turnaround times in the industry. Lots of customization options, and they are really trying to innovate and push things to the next level. So make sure that you check them out. Really great company. We love them. Make sure you check out Black Box Cages.
Yeah. And man, so we are kicking butt and taking names this year. Like if you are if you're on audio only, then you're hearing these as they all come out week by week. And if you want to just get a whole barrage of Reptile Talk, then make sure you go over to YouTube at the Reptile Talk Podcast, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you can catch them every single time we go live, whether that means we're doing 1 episode, 2 episodes, 3 episodes. I hope maybe we'll do 4 episodes in one day, and if we really want to be crazy, but you know,
my brain will melt.
Yeah, mine will too, and my back will hurt. I'm in a very uncomfortable chair when I do these.
Same. I can't sit all the way back because this is the wall right here. So.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
perfect. So, well, that would be really good for your posture, though, Rob.
Yes, I gotta.
Yeah.
Hello, how's everyone doing today?
Wonderful. If you're on audio only, you can just imagine what this looks like.
It's us sitting up proper with our shoulders back and our chest forwards, like.
Yes.
Yeah, this is it.
That's supposed to be it. Well, from the last time I talked to you, Rob, how are you? How are things? Anything new and exciting going on?
It was like 60 degrees today. Well, actually, it's closer to 70 degrees today. So I was hyped. And it's supposed to be like 70 degrees tomorrow. So I think that I'm going to try and dip out of work early tomorrow to do some herping. I need to find my January snake. So we're getting towards the end of the month and I'm a little nervous.
It's true. It's true. Don't worry, dude. There'll be one random ass decays or queen snake.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Probably.
That's how it goes, dude. That is how it goes.
How are things going?
Things are going good. Got in a new Amazon today, so of course I'm super geeked about that. Just an awesome female red calico from John Martin's collection. So I'm very, very excited about having this animal. She is probably one of the largest Amazons I think I've ever seen. She's like probably just under the 7-foot mark.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a beast, and I'm really excited about it. I'm like, I got her out and I was like, damn. It's just an awesome animal. Hefty, absolutely. But yeah, so super excited about that, and a few other things going on Amazon wise that I'm not going to talk about publicly, but just yet, but some cool things for sure. And so outside of that, things are good. Things are freaking good. But I'm super excited about tonight's guest. We've got so many awesome things to talk about. So without further ado, let's get her in here. Welcome, everybody. Kori Martin.
Hey, how are you?
Bam. Good. How are you?
Hell yeah.
I'm good.
I'm super excited. Yes, this is going to be a really great episode. I've been meaning to have you on, and I'm glad that you've had a little break. Well, I'm not glad that you've had a break in your travels because I'm sure that you would rather be traveling and herping all over the place, but I'm glad that you were able to take a break so that we can talk to you.
Yeah, I think this year is going to be a little bit slower on the travel front. I hit it real hard last year. So.
Yeah.
So I need a little time to recover, I think, but
for sure.
Yeah.
So we want to talk to you about a bunch of different things. You got so many like cool projects that you're working on, hitting the tree monitors hard. You work with some Morelia, you got Aspidites, and you also have a passion for herping. So like
Yeah.
All the cool things.
Yes.
Yeah. So my biggest change on that front is I am actually moving out of Morelia.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
No, and so basically I had this thing happen where so my facility, I have a facility. I moved into a facility last year, and it does not work for my monitors. It is not safe enough to keep lizards there.
Oh, dang.
And unfortunately, I learned that the hard way. One of my black tree monitors bolted while I was spraying one day. Within 2 minutes, she was just gone.
Yep.
Fortunately, we found her a week and a half later in my next door neighbor's unit.
Oh,
so
dang.
I was able to recover her, and she's fine, and she's laid another clutch for me since then. But it scared the shit out of me. And so I that weekend grabbed everything and brought it home. And so since I now have a house full of lizards and
monitors,
a house full of lizards and a facility that doesn't work for a big chunk of my collection, I was like, I just need to let this facility go. I'm spending so much money on it.
Yep.
And the only problem is now that I have all these lizards everywhere in their giant cages, I just don't have room for the snakes. So working on some changes in the collection, but it's all good. All for the good.
Yeah, for real. And that is something that not as many people talk about when it comes to, trying out different things and seeing what really drives you. Because if you find something that really lights something inside of you, you just want to go full on into it. And if you are, to be able to pursue that passion and to like really give everything to it, sometimes you got to let things go that were for a period of time. And there's other people who are really passionate about those things. So I'm sure that there are people who are like,
I was really lucky. I was able to find some really great homes. One person in particular was coming back and looking to rebuild a collection, and he's super pumped and excited, and it ended up being just a really, really good situation. So everything's getting well taken care of, but it was definitely a tough call because carpets have been a real big deal in my keeping adventures until now. So it's a little sad to see them go, but
but I think that with the monitors is like so much more interactive. There's more regular upkeep, so you get a little bit more interaction from them. Like as a keeper, I feel like you might get a little bit more.
That's exactly right.
Than keeping snakes.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I enjoy them so much. I did not see it coming. I was very, very intimidated by them. And I think I really had to go through a significant period of keeping reptiles to get to the point where I was a competent enough keeper for them. But once I started in them, like it was like falling in love with reptiles all over again. They just do it for me. So I love them. And I'm really, really lucky to get to work with them.
Hell yeah. So like, what would you say was the species that really flipped that switch for you?
Oh, so it was when I got my first pair of green tree monitors. I started with some smaller Odatria type stuff. And it was when I got those tree monitors that I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. And this is what I'm supposed to be working with. They're so fun that I at this point right now, I have them in my living room. My whole family watches them like dive bomb the front of the cage and like be ridiculous. And they're just so much fun. They're just so much fun. So
yeah. I miss having tree monitors. I had some Beckeri for a while, like when I lived in Maine, and then when I lived in New Hampshire too. And they're such an interesting species, and they all have their own personalities. But I was able, like, I got mine, I think it was from Undercurrent, which I don't even know if they still do stuff anymore, but a while back, and they were really just apprehensive off the rip because they were initially wild caught, and that process is really tough on them. And monitors are so smart; they like have such an association with people and individual people. And so like when I first got them, I had to work so hard to win their trust and to work with them. And eventually I got them to the point where they would take food off of tongs and like come up and like take it off my arm and stuff. But I still couldn't get past that, like that barrier. There's still that apprehension to them. Whereas like a lot of the Porcinus, the green tree monitors, I feel like more of them are captive bred. And so they're starting from a better place. So you can really build a better bond with them.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of the things I'm really looking forward to with working with Beckeri is, I've got a clutch that's due to hatch pretty soon. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to working with captives and seeing, how that whole experience is different, because you're right. I just today, I think, got my female eating off of tongs for the first time. She's been really, really, really shy. The male a little bit less so, but she's been really shy. And so, everything that I've heard is that it's just a totally different animal when they're captive bred. And that's definitely proven true with green tree monitors for me. My captives are just, and my blues as well. Like the captives are just night and day.
Yeah, they're just a dream. They're just so great.
Yep, they are.
I'll say that like one of the worst bites that I've gotten was from a black tree monitor.
They hurt so bad.
Really bad.
And they'll swell up, and it's just
that's what I was gonna say, is I'm pretty sure that they are grouped under those like venomous monitors, because when I got bit, I almost passed out. And I'm not someone who has reactions to stuff. Like I've been bit by way bigger monitors and not had any reaction, more blood.
Yeah.
I'm not really squeamish around blood, but what happened was I was going to feed them, and there's a pair of them in the enclosure, and it's like a 6 foot tall, 3 foot deep, 18-inch wide or so. And so I went to go feed one, and the other one dove down and scared that one. So the first one ran all the way down to the bottom, and there was like a screening on the front, so they were able to like climb up and down really easily. So it went down to the bottom, straight up, and then out like this, and went over my shoulder. And so I went like this to go grab it. Caught it about halfway down.
Turns around.
And it turned around and grabbed me right here. And I was just like, ooh. And it, it's a good size, it's a full big adult black tree monitor.
Yeah.
And it held on for like, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 seconds. And I'm just sitting there just like, oh man. And like instant swelling. It bled a decent amount, but it was a really deep cut. And then I was like, oh man, I got to go wash this out. So I go over to bleach. I'm like bleaching and antibacterial soap and like really going. And like a minute later, I was like, I'm going to pass out right now. I'm going to fall over. And so I had to go outside, and it was like February or March. It was cold as hell outside. And I just sat down on the ground, and I was like, if I'm going to pass out, I want to be on the ground.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's completely disproportionate to the size of the animal.
The size of the thing. And they got some jaw pressure on them.
Yeah. Man. So, that's definitely a good thing to know in working with them. I try to usually use gloves. I don't want to, I hate to be like a sissy about it, but like, I really don't want to take one of those bites. And so I'll usually work with gloves with them, but every once in a while there's a situation just like you were talking about where one goes flying and you grab it and boom.
And their claws are different too. Like if you have held a monitor, like monitors have heavy duty claws, but they have really, really like sharp and long claws. So they're meant to like get in little cracks and crevices on trees, even smooth trees. So like when they grab your skin, I've literally had them where they like puncture a hole, like pierce through my skin when they're holding on.
Yeah. I had one of my Beckeris bit all the way through a leather glove.
Wow.
Like I could feel the teeth on the inside of the leather glove. Like I now wear welding gloves because of that.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
Good Lord. I'll happily avoid that one.
That's the ATV guy.
Yeah.
Hey man.
I'm totally joking. I actually they have a reputation, but I've been around some really, really sweet ones. So
yeah.
The thing that separates the Amazons is that they have no jaw pressure. So it's just this big bobblehead that's like whack.
And typically you can gauge it fast enough
Yeah.
to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna move slightly to the left,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We found one when I was in Peru, and it was the coolest experience. Like all of a sudden I was like, okay, I get this now. They're amazing. They're amazing.
Yep. They are freaking insane.
Yeah.
They are freaking insane. What? Okay, I need to deviate now. What was it like? What was it like finding one in the wild? Because that's literally like the more that I have like fallen in love with the species, the more I want to do one of those South American expeditions.
You absolutely should. You absolutely should. Yeah. So we were just like, it wasn't even like a hiking trail area. We were just like walking through some brush in this little remote village off of a tributary in the Amazon, and kind of just going through all the bushes, lots of cane toads everywhere and that kind of thing. But it was a relatively low bush that we found it just hanging out in for the night.
Really?
It was like sitting in the bush. I think it was hunting rodents because it was like down pretty low, and it was like hanging in hunting position. So yeah,
that's freaking awesome.
It was so cool.
That's so freaking awesome. I think the thing that always amazes me with them, and like obviously we know people that are captive breeding them, and we've seen like what's possible with some of that stuff. But
yes,
I think I still get amazed seeing the new imports come in and being like, man, this thing existed in the wild. Like, I'm happy I get the chance to own it here, but imagine walking along a trail and just like, bam, like bicolor Amazon or like neon yellow Amazon. Like,
sounds like you need to get there.
Yeah, I kind of want to do that.
And in general, that trip, we actually struck out a fair amount. We didn't see a whole lot of snakes, but that was one of the ones that we didn't see on that trip. Yeah.
I wouldn't be that
targets.
So we were looking for bushmasters. That was the big target. We did not find any that trip. We found a fair, or I guess it's not really a fair to lance there. It's a
some Bothrop species.
It's a Bothrop, but it's a but anyway, we found one of those. We found this really, really, really weird, like, God, the name's escaping me right now. It's one of those almost worm-like looking snakes, but it's pretty big. I can't remember what that one was. We found a cat eye snake. But nothing super crazy on that trip. We were there when there was a full moon, and that makes a really big difference.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
Yep. Yeah, we did see a lot of frogs though. We found a bunch of tree frogs and dart frogs and all that fun stuff. So we did see that.
That's cool too. That's cool too.
Yeah.
I've heard that the Lachesis, the Bushmasters, can be really elusive, because I think we were talking to Scott Borden, and he and his wife went down there as well, and they completely struck out too. They had to go to like a specific zoo, and they had some that they could check out, but they didn't actually see any wild ones.
Yeah, I know a number of people who have taken many trips trying to find them. We had when I was in Zimbabwe this most recent time, we had a lot of luck finding our target there, which was puppies. We ended up finding 3 puppies.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was really cool.
Insane.
Yeah.
Did you guys find them like on the move, or were they kind of like held up in like ambush, or?
No. So I think they were all kind of not on the move. One of them was in some shrubs next to a water tower. And and this one guy was like, oh my God, I walk over here barefoot all the time.
Oh man.
Yeah. So one was there, one was, they're just kind of coiled up and hanging out. And they blend in so well to like leaf litter and stuff. So it was really, really, it was really interesting.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's so funny because like in the US, we don't think about that sort of stuff. Like
Yeah.
you don't really have to most of the time, unless you maybe
Right.
if you live like in the Southwest, you might think about venomous snakes on a fairly regular basis. But even people I know who live in Arizona, they're like, oh, you don't. I mean, you see them every now and again, but you don't
Yeah.
really like think about it when you go out at night, or you don't, you
Yep.
don't have to worry about that sort of stuff. But people who live in like Southeast Asia or India or into
Oh,
Africa,
yeah.
that's like just a part of life.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. We had another snake that we found that we had to rule out being a mamba. We were down to like counting head scales and that sort of thing to figure out what it was, but it ended up being an olive grass snake. So it was okay.
Dang.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see a. We saw it the first time I was there. We saw like the briefest glimpse of a mamba crossing the road, and then we stopped the car and it just
gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That when it comes to mambas, I remember, Rob, when we went down to Cody and Pia's place for Southeast Carpet Fest, watching a black mamba dart from one side of a 10-foot cage to the other in a split second through like tree branches and all. It wasn't just a straight dart. It was like I have to maneuver, and it was like bam in the blink of an eye, and I was like, I don't ever want to touch this.
No.
like I want those doors closed always, because that's horrifying.
Yeah. Yes. And yeah, there are so many venomous species there. It's just, it's so many. So it's a lot of fun. And then herping is real different when you have to listen for elephants and all of that.
Oh gosh.
Too. There were several times on my first trip where we would be out like herping at night and the guides would like hear an elephant and everyone had to like run back to the truck.
No.
Jeez.
Whew, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I would love to go herping for rhino vipers, but
right.
I don't really like being in places where we're not the apex predator.
Yeah, no, it's true. Very, very much not sure.
Oh gosh.
I didn't properly appreciate like how terrifying an elephant can be until I was there.
At nighttime, and you're
right.
I don't know if I could see it if it was like 10 feet away right now.
Sheesh. Oh
gosh. But they can hear you because they're just walking around, and they man, that's wild.
Yeah, but they have poor night vision, so like they can hear you, but they can't necessarily see you, and then that can spook. It's just
right. I was gonna say that makes it even more tricky, because if you spook them and they just start going, like, oh god,
yeah, yeah. So,
man, oh man,
yep.
So, just trying to think, like,
well,
what other? So you did Zimbabwe, you did Peru,
and
then you did. I thought you did one or two.
So I've done a couple more. So I did Guatemala.
Yes,
Guatemala was amazing. That country completely blew me away. Like I wasn't really prepared for how amazing it is. So there's so many different ecosystems. Oh, hey. It's fun. There's so many different ecosystems. There's like volcanoes, and there's cloud forest, and there's dry, there's like dry desert type environments. It's so different. And so on that trip, we saw a few different palm pit vipers. We saw a bicolor, and God, the other one's escaping my brain right now. I'm sure I'll think of it in a minute. But and then we also, when we were in the drier area, we went to a conservation site where they're working with Guatemalan beaded lizards. And so basically while we were there, we were able to find 2 wild beaded lizards, Charles Bogardi, and one of them had never been tagged before. And so they tagged it while we were there. It was so cool.
That's incredible.
Like it like one of the highlights probably of like my herping life was seeing those guys in the wild. It was really, really cool.
That has got to be so fucking exciting.
Yeah. And they had a ton of them there because they have a few breeding pens of them, and they if they find them in really rough shape, they'll try to rehabilitate them before re-releasing them. But to see ones that were like actually wild was amazing. One of them, we actually like someone managed to see at the very end of like a tunnel in the mud, and we like the guy who works at the research center had to like kind of coax it out with a stick and just like jump out. It was so cool.
Wow, that's so incredible.
Yeah. So completely fell in love with them. Not quite ready to keep them, but they're freaking amazing.
Heloderma are so special, and like I feel like they don't get the love they deserve. I mean, there are people who are like, oh yeah, beat it. I mean, I guess they're kind of cool, but like until you get to like see them up close and like really see like how they move and look at their body structure.
Oh my God, yes.
It's harder for people to like really grasp how like unique of an animal it is, you know?
And they can like, they're big and meaty and like, they're so cool. So I don't have those, but after that trip, I did get a group of Guatemalan spiny-tailed iguanas, and so I'm working with those now.
That's awesome.
Yep.
You're like, I saw them there. I gotta get them. They're just so dang cool.
Right.
I feel like that's how awesome. it is sometimes when you go herping places. You're like, oh man, I didn't realize how cool this thing is. I need to get me some of these.
I know. It's so true.
Because like we working at Nerd, we had Gila monsters there and beaded lizards and stuff, and I'm like, these are pretty cool. And then when I went herping in Utah saw wild Gila monsters, I was like, oh my goodness, these things are freaking incredible, and they have like a completely different body structure. They're just it's so they're so incredible. They're so amazing, and we saw 2 of them. Like it was just
incredible.
It was awesome.
Incredible. Yeah. I love herping. I have horrible, I should have better luck where I am because, I'm in Central Texas and we have a good number of things, but I'm really good at finding decays and finding like spiny lizards, and that's about it. So nothing too, I haven't found a whole lot of really cool stuff. We have a bunch of rattlesnakes in my neighborhood that you see out and about, but
those are cool.
I mean, those are pretty damn cool. You're talking to 2 New England boys that are like, the coolest shit we have are timbers and copperheads in there, and they're both endangered.
They're both endangered and like almost gone. So
so if you see one, it's the holy grail. Seeing the occasional rattlesnake just happen to cross a pathway is kind of nice.
I'll say
it's cool.
Like where I'm at right now, I was expecting to see a lot more, but I think that I just don't look at the right times because I see some of my friends and they're like road cruising, and I'm not used to road cruising because like you don't road cruise in New England. There's stuff doesn't go across the road like very often, and except for if you're looking for like salamanders during spring or fall, you can find those. But like snakes, you don't see snakes in the road. Like I can count on my hand how many times I've seen a snake in the road in New England ever in my life. And I lived there for over 20 years. But down here, it's like people go road cruising and they're like, oh yeah, we saw 8 different species on this road tonight that we just drove up and down a bunch of times. And I'm like, I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. I go hiking all the time and I see like 3 species or 4 species and I'm just not looking at the right time, I guess.
I love herping, but I actually have a terrible eye for it. Like I am not good at spotting reptiles. I don't know what my deal is. I'm amazing at spotting mammals, but reptiles, I don't have the eye. So it's usually best for me when I go with a group of people. I can just like mooch off their finds.
That's
what you do is you
literally
have
me.
Have everybody else walk first. So if they startle something, then you just see the movement and you're like, there's something moving. I got it. I saw it.
Right.
It was me. I found it.
I just walk next to Rob because Rob has a really good eye. So I'm like, if Rob sees it, I'm immediately the person to be like, look, Rob got something. Look at it.
Bro, I doubt myself all the time. I'm walking around, I'm like, I haven't seen anything in forever. Do I know what snakes look like? And then all of a sudden I'll see one through like briars and like just with one coil showing. I'm like, okay, they're just not really out right now. That's what's going on.
Yep. You say that, and all I think about is when we found that Eastern hognose.
People walk by it. I don't know.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but you're just like, snake, and everyone's like, yeah, okay, Rob, sure, that's a cool handful of leaves you got. And then like, whoop, a hognose. Not only did you find it in the middle of nonsense on the ground, it was only like 6 inches long.
It was a small one.
Wow. That's impressive.
Like, yeah, so it's like, no, Rob, you're pretty damn good at finding snakes.
Dude, when I went to Utah, I had some major doubts because I walked around a lot and I didn't see anything.
But they're all about road cruising there now.
Yes. Yeah. So like when we were road cruising, we saw lots of stuff, but I wasn't the one driving.
Yeah.
And when we did get out and hike, I was like, man, I swear I should be seeing some snakes right now. It's just like, I'm sure that you've experienced this where you're someplace and you're like, this is the perfect habitat.
Every
there's
time.
There's going to be something right there, I swear.
And I'm like, okay, apparently if I was a snake, this is where I would be. But apparently I'm not very good at being a snake. I don't know.
I think that what we've all been duped into is the people who photograph a lot of these species. They don't photograph them in the spot where they found them. They take them, move them someplace that's scenic, and they go, this is a nice view, and I've got the snake here, and then they photograph it there. And I'm going, okay, all the pictures I've seen, it should be right here. And it's like, actually, they found it way over there.
Right. Yeah, but 100 yards that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a totally different environment.
Yeah, in a pile of cinder blocks and shingles.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So like we found a rock python on my last trip, and it was just up in a tree. Like just okay. Chilling. Yep.
Jeez.
That's so weird because like I think of like a lot of the content I've seen online of African rock pythons, it's like always like in a burrow or like moving through some thick brush or something, not in trees.
That one did not get the memo.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Did you guys get a lot of rain then or no?
No. So it was the very end of the dry season. This last time when I was there, it was the very end of the dry season. And we actually saw more than we did when I was there the previous time, which was during the rainy season. Part of it was because the brush was a lot more dense during the rainy season, and it was just harder to get through things and find stuff. We actually saw a good number of things this last time.
Hell yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. The reason why I asked is because like we got some really heavy rains last summer, and like before the rains, I was having a real tough time finding things, and then after it rained, you just walk along the river and look 1 to 2 feet off the ground, and there's snakes everywhere, like on all the trees everywhere, all along.
So that's what we were expecting when we were in Peru, because there'd be this huge afternoon downpour, and then we'd all be like, let's go herping. They're all going to be out. And they weren't.
That's frustrating.
That's when you're like, everything I know is a lie.
It's all a lie.
Yeah. Damn.
Oh, gosh. So is there a spot for you that's like bucket list that's like this has to happen ASAP?
Yeah. So I still really want to go to Australia. I haven't been to Australia. Obviously with loving Morelia and Odatria and everything else. Like there's so much I would love to see in Australia. So that's a real big one that I haven't done. Yeah. And then, I mean, I also haven't done Southeast Asia yet. And
Mhm.
so that's also very high on the list.
Yes. Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
Southeast Asia is at the very top of my list. So Borneo, Sumatra,
Yes.
Thailand, like
Yes.
I really, 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 really need to go there.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. When I think about those trips in my mind, I'm like, okay, I gotta have like 10 grand set aside so that I
That's the
can take
problem
this
for those
trip.
kind of
And like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was looking at flights to like round trip flights to Australia, and I was like, maybe if I like book it like a year out, it'll be a little bit more affordable. And I was looking at tickets, and it was like, I don't know, $1,200, $1,500 for like round trip tickets, and I was like, that's not as bad as I was expecting it to be
I
like
would
3 or
expect
4
worse
grand.
too. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the reason I've been to a lot of the places I've been to is because they're shockingly affordable to go to.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's fair. Not mad about that at all.
Yep.
You're looking at the chart, you're like, okay, these are the price for the flights, and these are the things that I want to see there.
Exactly.
Okay, I can adjust, and we'll go to this one right here. I can
Yep.
swing this one.
Yep.
Exactly.
There's enough cool things there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Australia is definitely up on my list as well. Like as a fellow Morelia geek, like
Yep.
yeah, definitely need to do that. And I would love to see some Antaresia.
Yeah.
Like that would be super cool.
That would be super
So,
cool.
Yeah, I'm
I
with
go
you
to
on that.
Australia, I need to see a lace monitor and a death adder. Everything else is
I just
It's
need
whatever.
a Parenti. That's all I ask for.
Parenti,
Parenti.
yeah. Yes.
maybe a scrub, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Rob's like, I have those at home. It's fine.
Like
The
mine
thing
are prettier. It's fine.
I honestly think that barnecks are prettier than a lot of the King Ornai, and I know people will be
Yes.
mad about that. I think that the thing is like, it's like we're finding that there's a lot of these Australian species found in parts of Southeast Asia. Like Dan Mallory
Mhm.
found those spotted, or was it spotted or children's pythons that he had, the Indonesian ones, and they're like, oh yeah, they've got water pythons there, and they've got this, and they've got
Mhm.
green tree pythons are found in both places, and I'm
Yep.
like, my southern scrubs, the Merauke scrubs, look so close to King Ornai, and the only like thing that's really different is the King Ornai are giant, and I'm like, okay,
Right.
I have handled enough giant snakes and almost hurt my back. I don't need to do that. I can appreciate the slightly smaller ones. A 15-foot southern scrub is still an impressive snake.
Mhm.
Yes.
I think with carpets, they've looked at the Papuan carpets and compared them to like Darwin's and then
They're,
some
like,
of the
identical,
York
right?
type ones, and they're like pretty much the same species
Yes.
they've
Yeah.
discovered.
Wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah, I remember when I saw the first Darwin's like hit the market here in
Yeah.
the States. I was like, this looks like a
Those are
poplar.
IJs. Yeah.
It's an IJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
They look
was it-
very, very, very similar. The babies
yeah,
look the
I'm like,
same. They're all,
right,
yeah.
damn
Yeah.
near the same.
Yeah.
And it's like, are we just wanting to slap an extra 150 on that? Like,
Look, everything's more valuable when it comes from Australia.
it's
True.
true. Just don't ask how it got here.
Don't ask questions.
Never.
There are so many questions you just don't ask.
That's it.
Unfortunately. I just
Oh,
remember the
God.
first time that I saw that lace monitors were in the US, it blew my mind because I remember when I was little, like seeing pictures of them and being like, that is the most incredible lizard I've ever laid eyes on. I need to have one of those lizards. And I was like, oh, they're from Australia. Never mind.
Forget
Never
it.
mind.
Yeah, right, gone.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
not happening. And then when I
Yep.
saw them being produced in the US, I was like, oh, that's my dream reptile. Like,
possible.
I remember that Eco Universe used to have a lace monitor shirt, and I got that at one of the first White Plains shows that I went to, and it's like a lace monitor, a Bell's lace that's like half in the water and half out of the water. It's just like turning and looking. And I wore that shirt to Disintegration because I loved it so much.
Disintegration is very, very absolute, Rob.
Oh, I know, because I wish I still had it, and I don't.
I'd be wearing it right now.
Yeah, I would be wearing it right now. It was like an XL, and I had no business wearing a shirt that big, but I still loved it.
But did it anyway.
I did it anyway. So for like monitors, what's the next move? I know you got some Beckerai eggs incubating, and what's the next?
Yeah, so I have currently in my incubator, I've got 2 clutches of Beckerai, I've got 2 clutches of green tree monitors, and then I've got a clutch of Ackies. So next is I'm building out my black tree monitor group because I just really, really love Beckerai. I have another pair that I'm picking up at the Conroe show this weekend. And then I just bought a pair of captive bred ones that I'm importing from Canada.
Yes,
I know. I love them so much. But
Oh,
oh, it glitched.
we froze.
Did we freeze?
I didn't freeze. I thought you froze.
No. I'm good.
Oh, we froze. At least it's a cheerful face.
Yes.
Who do we have on that one time where it froze and it was just like the most awkward, bizarre
grimace.
face? You remember that? Not grimace. That's terrible. Uh-oh.
Let me see if I'll message her.
Things have frozen. Well, I'll take this opportunity to talk about Black Box.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Make sure you guys check out Black Box Cages. And yeah, go get yourself a new cage, go get yourself a new rack. They're working on arboreal racks. They are working on I'm forgetting the size of the tub, of course, now that I want to talk about it. Another one of the, I think, Vision Series tubs for their racks. And here we go.
hey,
back.
sorry about that. Oh, I'm there twice. There we go.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I think it was really on my end.
No, you're good. You're good. It's at first I thought Rob froze too because he was very still. And I was like, uh-oh. Oh gosh.
All right, so I'm trying to think. We were talking about black tree monitors.
And so the next species I think I would branch into would be cordensis.
Ooh, hell yeah!
I think they're very, very pretty. So that's probably next. If I had unlimited funds, I would love to get into golden spotted tree monitors, bohemi, but that's like a dream right now. But
yeah,
there's some people working on, like I know that there's been at least a clutch laid of them recently. So
I didn't know about that. That's really cool.
Yeah,
that is super cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we had some of those at Nerd briefly towards the end of when I was working there, right, Jeremy?
That's cool.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
There was a group of 4 of them or something.
Oh, wow.
4 or 5 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because like people are like, oh, the Prasinus and the Cordensis, they look absolutely identical. And then after like I've seen a lot of them now, I'm like, I feel like I can tell them apart most of the time, even in pictures when I'm looking at them. Yeah. Like if you didn't know tree monitors or like, I don't know, I shouldn't say that because like there are a lot of people who are like, they look super, super similar and there's only like one little difference. And I'm like, I feel like when I look at them most of the time, I can pick them out at a pretty good distance. Yeah.
The cordensis usually have kind of a lace pattern to them.
Exactly.
As opposed to the striped pattern that you see on Prasinus.
Yeah.
And they also, from what I've heard talking to a few people, they tend to be smaller.
It's
interesting. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of adults, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I haven't either. The other monitor project that I'm working right now that I'm really, really excited about is Varanus similis. I have a big male that Mike Stefani gave me, and then I've got 2 little girls growing up. And I'm super pumped. I freaking love those animals. So that's another one I'm working right now.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
here
Do you
for
find that you're drawn to those a little bit more than the tree monitors right now, or do you find it like?
I don't think so. I mean,
Mhm.
I only have 3 of them, so you know, it's not a super huge project or anything.
Mhm.
I also have peacock monitors, which I kind of lump in the same group. But I don't know. They're all cool. They're all cool. Like they're very similar sized, and they're all like kind of arboreal, and you know all of
Mhm.
that. So there's
Mhm.
a lot of similarities there.
I don't think that there's ever going to be a situation where the supply meets the demand for tree monitors
Well,
because they're
honestly, that's one of the things that attracted me to all of this, because I got started as a freaking ball python breeder.
Mhm.
And it's something that I very much did not like about working with ball pythons.
Mhm.
And
Let the shit talking begin. Where's Antoine?
right? Hey, no, I still have lots of ball pythons to sell. They're great.
Oh gosh.
But
That's
but
awesome.
no, it's just I don't know. To me, it's just it's more niche. It's not something that is just ever going to be like mass produced. It's not ever going to be like a commodity item.
Mhm.
I really really like that about it. There was one day a couple months ago, I popped on Morph Market and looked, and there were like, at the time there were like 60,000 ball pythons listed. And I
Yeah.
looked up tree monitors, and there were 16.
Yep.
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 Honestly, like I definitely can't say shit because I'm the exact same way with the Amazons.
Yeah.
You know, for 60,000 ball pythons posted, there's like at most 100 animals in the tree boa section, and that's
Yep.
encompassing all the species that they have on there. So, yeah, I'm with you on
Yep.
that 100%.
Yeah. For sure.
I was just thinking of getting rid of all my scrubs and getting some ball pythons, but
don't say that, Rob.
you
Don't
guys
say
talked
that.
me out of it.
Don't say that, because I will not show up to the next podcast until my ass gets to Raleigh so I can beat your ass. What are you thinking? Why would you
That's fair. I think that's a appropriate response, honestly.
Oh,
So,
God.
Yep.
since you switched over to doing lizards, have you been like
Mhm.
eyeballing other kinds of lizards? You're like, oh, maybe I should get some geckos, or maybe I should get some skinks or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to. I do have some Calotes, and
Ooh.
they're pretty cool. I've got like 4 of them growing up. And then I have several different iguanas, like spiny-tailed iguanas, because I also really like spiny-tailed iguanas.
Mm,
And that's one of those that, definitely not a money maker, but like, but I just love them. I think they're super cool. So I have the Guatemalan ones I was mentioning earlier, and then I have Roatons and some Pied Pectinata, and they're fun. I really like them. I really like them too. And they're really fun animals to me.
hmm
So,
I think that spiny tail iguanas are
mhm.
like super, super, super underrated. I love those ones. I can't even think of which type they are right now, but they're like the mostly tan ones, but then they get the black like zebra stripes down the back
Yes,
half of
yeah,
them.
Melanosterna.
Those things are
They're beautiful.
incredible, and I absolutely love them. And I wish that they were bred a little bit more, but that's okay because they're
Yeah.
just so cool. And they got like a flat kind of head. It's just like, I don't know,
Mhm.
they just look really cool to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, why aren't
Yeah.
they more popular?
I mean, the hard part on that is like just space, because
Yeah.
they need so much space.
Mhm.
And so that's going to be a natural limiter for me.
Yes.
As it is with
True.
everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only so much space
Yeah.
until my children move out.
It's like, then you can't come back and live with me because now your room has a bunch of lizards in it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to make up the lizard space. If you want to come back, you got to make sure that your bed is on stilts and that we've got cones on it to keep the lizards out of them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
You know how it is.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
I know. I want a
Oh.
lace so bad, but I'm like, I really need to wait until I can make a 10 by 10 by 8 enclosure where it can just like have all the stuff that it wants, because I want to be able to go in the enclosure and just sit down with it.
Absolutely. So that's kind of my goal with the iguanas. My plan is to I have a really large back patio. My plan is to turn that into like a screened in room. Ooh. And then just have like big catios or, that kind of thing with individual groups, and just be able to go out there and hang out with my animals. Like that just sounds so fun to me. So
heck
yeah. That's what I'm doing.
That is absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
that's so exciting.
Yep. It's and fortunately in Texas, I can three seasons them outside. I'll need to bring them in for a few months in the winter, but for the rest of the year they can be outside.
Yeah, that's not bad. And I'm sure there's a way you could also probably have them out year round, do some kind of heating or something.
Yeah, no, there is. I mean, I'm sure I could do it, but I mean, we also, like last week we were in the teens. Like it does get super cold here. And not as often, but
right, but it does happen.
And so I have to at least have, a solid place to put everyone inside for when I inevitably have to bring them in.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you thought about doing a separate, like another facility for like that you could do better for lizards, or are like a mobile unit that you could put on your property, or like
so my issue right now is I have an HOA. I know I'm super limited, and so part of the oh my god, I just
Rob. Yep. That's the magic word to take Rob out.
It's the worst. And so one of the things I'm trying to do with moving out of the facility is then I can apply all of that money towards saving to buy some property sometime where I can have a building and really, really do it how I want to. And that's kind of the long-term plan, but that's a long-term plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with the housing market and how everything is right now. It's
let's not talk about that, guys.
We can all cry about it together.
We can all cry together.
Oh God.
I'm renting right now.
Oh gosh. The struggle.
Yep.
The struggle.
It's rough.
No. Yeah. Let's talk about ball pythons.
Right. Let's talk about something fun.
I was just going to start talking about how it takes like half a year to incubate monitor eggs and how thrilling that is.
It has been the most nerve-wracking thing ever. I was absolutely certain that this clutch was going to die at some point during incubation, like certain, to the point that I think last week I was like, holy crap, I think I'm actually going to get babies. I need to figure out what the fuck I'm doing.
Oh gosh.
So I reached out to to someone much more experienced and got all the ins and outs of how to get them started and everything. But I was like, I think this is gonna happen.
This is happening.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be so worth it though when you see those little noses poking out.
Cannot wait. I think we're probably a little bit under a week left to go. So
it's so exciting.
It's been a long wait, but God, that's going to be the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's incubating monitor eggs and anything that takes longer than 3 months. I just can't fathom.
Yeah.
Like coming from somebody who's breeding boas where it's like 5 months of sitting around. But
it's true.
It's like, I think it's a little different when, you've got an animal that's going through an entire gestation period. And then when everything hits the ground, it's live young. Versus you get eggs on the ground and then you've got to wait.
And then it's up to you not to.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Right. Exactly. And and we just talked about this on one of the other podcasts. Like the longer the incubation period, the higher the tendency could be for something to go wrong.
Absolutely.
So it's just like, nope, no.
Yeah. That part is super terrifying.
Yeah. But also, when you get to that point of having that successful clutch hatch,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a notch in the belt.
Yeah, it's
to be
for me,
hey,
it's like proof of
dialed it in.
concept to all of this.
Yes,
And
exactly.
that's and I'm really, really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So.
Heck yeah.
Honestly, when you start like you're getting a bunch of clutches right now, but once you get like into your full rhythm of things,
Yeah.
you're gonna start putting stuff in the incubator, and then you'll forget about it for a little bit, and then something else is gonna hatch, then something else is gonna hatch, then something else is gonna hatch, and something else is gonna hatch, and then it's 6 months, and your stuff that you were waiting for is ready. So
I think that's exactly right. I think once that, because they really get into a rhythm of like every 3 months, almost like clockwork, and so it'll just be pretty regular. I think it's once it gets going a little bit more.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of how things were at Nerd. We have like 2 clutches hatching a month, like one at the beginning of the month, one at the end of the month, and we're putting stuff in there. We're like, oh man, I really want to see these babies hatch out, and then they go in the incubator, and I'm like, oh, look at these babies hatching out. Oh, look at these babies hatching out. Look at these babies hatching out.
And before you know it, that time is gone. Yeah.
And then I'll have more babies than I know what to do with, and the cycle continues.
Yeah, I was just about to say, and then you end up having a nerd problem where it's like, I have so many babies, and I don't know what to do with them.
I don't think you're gonna have like. Don't get me wrong, you'll have a lot of babies, but like I said, the demand is so high for tree monitors, and it only is going to get more the more people find out about them.
My big thing is just I want them to go to people who are going to have success with them. And so, that education, I think, is just going to be one of the big things. Like I'll want proof of caging and that kind of thing. Cause it just, I was talking, I have an amazing reptile vet here, who's a big keeper himself. And, we were talking last week, and, he mentioned that he just sees lots and lots and lots of sick tree monitors. And of course it's, most likely imports, and it's people who don't know what they're getting into, and, all of that. But I don't want to perpetuate that. So
for sure.
You're taking the first step in producing captive bred monitors.
I was just gonna say, captive bred is the first step in making it happen. So
and then how great is it, to see less of a demand on wild populations as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That is where it's
100%.
at.
Yep.
Man, this is exciting.
I'm excited.
I know that as soon as those babies start pipping, I'll sense a disturbance in the force, and I'll be like, oh.
Right. Today is the day.
Yeah. It's like when Owen was hatching out his rough scale pythons that week. I was like, there's something going on right now.
Something's cool. Something cool is happening.
Something cool is happening. I swear. I just heard someone scream. Like,
what is that?
Yeah, it sounds like it's coming from Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Water. So I can only imagine that I'm going to hear something similar from Texas.
All the way from Texas.
Yes. Yeehaw.
Yeah. Yeehaw. That's exactly what it'll be. That's the post.
Oh, zero context, no image, just a black screen and yeehaw.
Yeehaw. That's great. I love it.
Oh man.
Sheesh.
Okay, well, we have already blazed through our hour
crazy.
here.
Time flies.
I know. So we're gonna have to do a follow-up one after babies hatch, so that we can check back in and see how in love with them you are.
Perfect. Perfect.
So, one question that we close out every single show with, and we ask all of our guests, is what in the realm of reptiles, be something you're working with or something you've seen online, what is something that has you excited about reptiles right now?
I mean, what we've been talking about this entire show. What has me excited, and so this is, I'll carry it on a little bit more, one of the things that I've noticed happen in this down market with ball pythons is a lot of my ball python breeder friends are starting to branch out into exploring other reptiles. And I see a lot of my friends have found, you know, different new pet projects to get into and have discovered the joy of lots of different species. Yes. And for me, that's one of the things that I'm really excited about is hopefully seeing a return to, you know, shows that aren't 50% ball pythons and, you know, more diversity and more, more cool stuff for everyone.
Hell
yeah.
That's 100%. Where it's at.
Yep, absolutely.
So, if people want to find out more about the things that you're doing and see some of the projects that you got going on, where should they follow you?
Yep. Kori Martin Reptiles on Instagram or Facebook.
Hell.
Bam.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me,
Kori.
I greatly appreciate it. And like I said, I'm serious. We are going to have you on again after babies hatch so that we can talk more.
Perfect.
Yes.
God.
Sweet. All right, Kori, have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.